Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Sporemon. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we're going to be going over the next three 5-stage evolution lines. Starting down here with the Tumsler line. This is one of my personal favorites. It's a water and fighting type main line with a dark and fighting Ultra Evolution. This line is based off of lobsters primarily, and we're going to start down here with Latumsulaire. This is a Latin-based name. It is the lobster Sporemon. You can see he's pretty simple. He's bright red, majority in coloring. He's got only one pair of legs with his one pair of arms. He's a water and fighting type. He's got some back armor, some head armor, and that usual lobster-like body shape. As far as stats go, HP is pretty good for a first stage. Attack is quite good for a first stage. Defense is really good for a first stage. And then special attack and special defense are both really bad. 15 and 10 are quite poor. It's not going to be able to use basically any special attacks and can hardly take any. Its speed is also decent, but nothing too special. It has two abilities. First one being Swift Swim. After using or getting hit by a water type move, increase speed by one stage. So that low or generally unimpressive speed will definitely raise throughout battle as it uses water moves. And its other ability is Long Life. If in battle for more than 4 turns, regain half of its max health. Looks like there's a little more that's cut off there, but that gives you the gist. So if you don't know, lobsters actually live basically forever. If they aren't hunted, they'll just keep growing and living longer. And that's what's reflected in this ability. So if it is in battle for more than 4 turns, it's going to get a lot of HP back. That's a fantastic ability. You do have to keep it alive for at least 4 turns, but if you do it long enough, half of its max health is a fantastic thing to be able to regain, especially automatically. All right, we're going to move on to Crocorati. This is based off of Kraken and Karate. This is the beach Sporemon. You can see he's more upright, a bit more of a fighting stance, larger claws, another set of legs, a thicker body, same amount of armor plating. He also has 2 large horns now, and he's still got that very lobster-like body shape. And the same coloring as well. Still water and fighting. It has decent HP for a second stage, really good attack and defense for a second stage as well. Both really, really good. Its special attack and special defense, again, both very low, especially that special defense is going to be a pretty significant weakness. And its speed is definitely better. It's still below average, so it's not fantastic. And also, it does not have the Swift Swim ability anymore. It still has the Long Life ability. However, its other ability is now Strong Claw, which makes moves which use the claws gain 50% more damage. This thing is now a heavy damage outputter for moves that require the claws. All right, we're going to move on to the final stage, Lobregan. This is based off of Lobster and Kraken. This is the Sea King Sporemon, a water and fighting type. He's actually not very big at all for a third stage. However, you can see he's got this much more upright stance. He's more yellow and orange in coloring. He's got these bigger arms, bigger claws, these 2 sets of legs again with more powerful, sturdy looking feet. Still got that tail and that armor plating, and he's got much larger horns now. HP for a third stage, pretty low. He's not going to be able to take too much damage. However, his attack is fantastic. 170 with that strong claw, which is now 75%, is going to be super important for him. He's going to be able to hit very hard, especially with stab fighting moves. His defense is quite good. It's not fantastic for a third stage. However, he is going to be able to take some pretty solid physical hits. Special attack, still pretty bad. He's not going to be using that hardly at all. Special defense, not great. It's not abysmal, but it's not fantastic. It's going to mean he can't take many special hits, especially from late stage or late game Sporemon. His speed's it's decent now. He's going to outspeed most things. It's over average. It's decently over average too. He's going to be fairly fast. He has the ability Strong Claw, which is now 75%, And then long life is now up to 65% of its max health after 4 turns. So again, if this thing can stay alive for 4 turns, it's going to get a massive health boost and basically be back to full, especially if it didn't get down that far. And that really is its main point of use, is that long life. I mean, that his attack and his speed are both quite good. The attack being really good, but that long life is really going to be what makes him extra useful. And now we're going to move on to the Alter evolution. I believe this is a fighting and dark type. Yes, he's the rogue Sporemon. Como ratio, I think, is Latin based. I'm not sure on that one. It doesn't sound like a regular Pokemon style name. You can see he's got the same limb structure as the others, except he's got real claw-like hands instead of just claws. He's also got a more dragon-like snout, some extra nose horns that frill. Still got the sort of bull horns here. He's also got a fur tail instead of a watery tail, and some more lined plating on the back. He's also got much darker coloring, except for that bright lime green. This is, like I said, the Rogue Sporemon fighting a dark type. HP, not good. It's not great for a final stage. That's definitely going to be a bit of a downfall. Attack is also not fantastic. He's going to be able to hit semi-decently hard, but not super hard. We'll have to look at his abilities later. And then defense, fine, not great. Special attack, it's better than his regular attack, so this is more of a special attacker now. However, it's still not fantastic. His special defense, though, is now his best stat, which it would have been his worst with the mainline evolution. It's now his best. He's going to be able to take special hits super, super well. And his speed is also much higher than the mainline. That's going to be outspeeding about 3/4 of all of its enemies. And it has 2 abilities, both different from the mainline. The first being Tactical Mind. It is immune to critical hits, and it has a higher chance to critical hit. So that's both great. First of all, not only can it not take critical hits, which are just big damage, which would also hit through any stat buffs he also has a much higher chance to critical hit, which is going to seriously boost his damage output. He also has the ability Dark Fighter. He takes 50% less damage from attacks typed Dark and Fighting. So because he's fighting in Dark, he'd already super resist Dark type. That's not going to do much for him. However, Fighting he's actually would have been weak to, and now that he takes 50% less damage, he's going to take regular damage from fighting moves. So that's a pretty good weakness that is now nullified. Well, partially. All right. We're going to move on to the Mega Lobregan. Still the Sea King, still water and fighting type. You can tell he's much larger. Let's get him to stand up here. He also has this bright light blue coloring introduced, which I actually added originally because of crystal blue lobsters. You can look it up. They're just very light, bright light blue lobsters. That's a bit of a homage to that. He's definitely much larger, more upright stance, bigger arms, bigger claws, and he's got this large full ring crown of horns now. You can see that middle eye is kind of tilted down. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not made like that. It's just sometimes Spore with this specific eye type will just make it look down while you're in the character viewer. Not that big a deal. He also has his tail pointed up in a more outright stance. Water and fighting, HP still fine. Attack is now fantastic. Along with that strong claw ability, he's going to be able to hit super, super hard. Defense is actually really good now. Special attack is actually quite good now. I'd say that's serviceable. If he definitely wants to prioritize attack moves, however, he can now use special attack moves if he so wants. Special defense is also pretty good. It's not great for a third stage, but it's definitely better than the base form. And then speed is now quite good also. He's still got that strong claw and long life ability. However, the long life now has a higher percentage of health that's going to regain. So Mega Lobregan is going to be a super strong, long-lasting, heavy hitter. All right, and that finishes up that line. We're going to move on to the next one. This is the Zap Jab line. It's electric and fighting type with a ice and fighting alter evolution. I'm going to start down here with Zap Jab. Name based off of jab, as in like the sort of a light punch, and then zap, zapping with electricity. He's kind of bending down there a bit. You'll see he'll stand up here. This is the Jabbing Sporemon, a fighting and electric type. You can see he's got this upright, very humanoid sort of frame with a more alien-like face with those slit eyes and that sort of mouth. He's got paws for the feet and hands, and then these little frills sticking out all over his body. Their main color scheme for the whole line is red and yellow. This one's definitely the most It's the most desaturated. That's the word. Like I said, fighting an electric type, HP fine, attack quite good, defense bad, special attack fine, special defense really really bad. That's like one of the worst special defenses we've ever seen. This thing can not take any special hits. Speed is actually really good though, really really good for a first stage. And with that good attack for first stage, he's definitely going to be a quick sweeper in the early game. His ability is submachine gun fists. That means all of his attacks using the fist hit 2 to 4 times. So this thing actually has an incredibly massive attack stat because all of its fist-based attacks are going to hit 2 to 4 times. Basically, effectively doubling, tripling, or quadrupling the attack power of all of his fist-based moves, which is huge. We're going to move on to his evolution, Elect Fist. Pretty basic with the name there, Fist, Electric. This is the flashy Sporemon. You can see he's starting to really bulk up. He's got that broader chest, some bigger arms. He's kind of crouching here. He's got some larger, more solid built hands. He's got those paws, and his frills are starting to really grow, and his coloring is becoming much more saturated. Fighting electric, HP pretty bad for a second stage. Attack pretty good, not fantastic, at least without that ability. And his defense pretty bad. Special attack pretty good actually. His special attack and attack are actually quite even, so this is an even attacker on both physical and special attack. But he's also an equally poor defender on defense and special defense. That special defense is really really bad for a second stage, but that speed is great. Still has that same ability. So basically, if this thing can outspeed, which it probably will, and then it uses a physical attack with that ability, it's going to be doing massive damage really fast. But then it's got to hope it OKOs, just one hit KOs, and doesn't allow the enemy to hit it back because it can't take much damage. All right, we're going to move on to the final evolution. This is Marsha Shock, based on martial arts and shock. The boxer Sporemon. You can see here he's much larger now, much taller, broader. He's got bigger arms, bigger hands, bigger feet. So he got those paws. We got very punching hands with some very pronounced frills all over his body. He's very showboaty and very brightly colored now. Fighting an electric still. HP is decent for a third stage, not incredible. Attack pretty good with that ability, which is now 3 to 5 times machine gun fist. His attack is actually really 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 good, even though it doesn't display so much in his actual base stat for it. Defense again kind of bad. Special attack is fine, it's usable. He wouldn't use it much because it doesn't trigger his ability, and then special attack is really bad, or special defense, sorry. His speed is also really, really good, so he is probably going to hit first. He's going to hit really, really hard with a physical attack. So that's definitely his main goal. He also has another ability now called Showman, which is after attacking, the audience will cheer, boosting special attack and decreasing the enemies both by 1. So the more it attacks, the better its special attack will get. If there's something that has really, really good defense and you want to hit it with a strong special attack, just fire off some regular attacks, and the thing's special attack will get boosted pretty quickly. It also decreases the enemies, which definitely helps with it having super low special defense. We're going to move on to our alter evolution. This is Frost Fu, based off of Kung Fu and Frost. Let's get him nice and stood up. He's definitely more lean, smaller than the other one. However, he's clearly got more precise attacks, definitely less bulky, less frilly as well. He's got more ice crystals rather than the showboaty frills. Overall, pretty similar design except for the dramatic color change to that purple and light blue. The Kung Fu Sporemon, he is a fighting and ice type. Also, I know that Kung Fu is misspelled here. I don't know what I was thinking when I made this, but I would change that now if I could. HP pretty low for a third stage. Attack pretty good, not fantastic, but pretty good. Defense fine. Special attack fine. Special defense decent. This one's special defense is definitely all right, and its speed is it's pretty good. It's better than average. It's not fantastic. He also has two abilities that are both different. The first one being Pressure Master. All of his physical attacks have a 50% chance to paralyze. So this thing is actually going to be a paralyzer main. And he also has the ability Expert Fighter, which makes him immune to critical hits, and he lands them more often. So if this thing can paralyze the enemy and then land a solid critical hit, it definitely can be quite effective. And finally, for this line, there's Mega Marsha Shock. Pretty used to these megas. They're just the base form with some added stats and a bit more extravagant in the physical department. He does have that bright light blue now, as well as the red and yellow. Fighting Electric, pretty good HP, pretty good attack, really good with that ability. Fine defense, pretty good special attack. His special attack now is actually higher than his regular attack. However, with that ability again, that attack damage is usually going to be much higher. Special defense quite low, but it's better, and then speed is actually really high. And then same abilities. All right, we're going to move on to the last line for this video. This is the Spectide line. This is Water and Ghost with a Ghost and Poison Alter Evolution. It's based off of Tidal Waves. Start down here with Spectide, name based off of Spectre and Tide. He's the Tide Sporemon. You can see he's floating. He's got these 4 arms going out in each direction, and he's got a very watery appearance. As far as his stats, he's Ghost and Water. HP is pretty good. Defense, really, really bad. He's not going to use any physical attacks. Defense, also really bad. Not going to be able to take him. Special defense and special attack, both really good for a first stage. Definitely a quite solid special attacker. And then sort of low speed. So I would say this is a special attacking tank for early game. And his ability is Clear Body, which makes him immune to physical attacks type fighting, flying, ground, rock, bug, steel, ice, and dark. So that is a huge amount of attacks that it is immune to, all in the physical category, because of it's basically just made out of water. You know, it's a specter just inhabiting water, so physical attacks won't really do anything to it. So this thing actually has a great special tank because of that huge amount of immunities. I'm going to move on to its evolution. Spiro Wave, based off of Spirit and Wave. This is the Wave Sporemon. Basically just a bigger, more extravagant version of the first stage. He's got those back fins, look like waves on his back. This crooked neck, this large round body, many more hands now. Still a very watery, aquatic appearance. Ghost and Water, HP, good. For the second stage, good. Attack and defense, both terrible. Special attack and special defense, both really good. Actually really good. This for mid game, this thing's gonna hit super hard and be super good at special defense. Speed, the same, not good, pretty bad. And then it's still got that Clear Body ability. All right, we're gonna move on to the final evolution, Tidal, based off of Phantom and Tidal. This is the Tidal Wave Sporemon. You can see his overall body shape is in the form of a tidal wave, sort of looks like an uprising wave. Got all of these hands and this long, elongated body, and then all of these fins pointing up, definitely making him look more tidal wave. Only got 1 fin on the back. I assume I ran out of space on this one. Ghost and Water type, HP is great. Attack and defense, both really bad. And then special attack and special defense, both really good. Definitely leaning more on the side of special attack now, but still definitely a tank, especially with that low speed. And he's got still the Clear Body ability, but he also has Water Body, which is after being hit by a water type move, gain 1 special attack. That's not going to happen often, but if it ever does, he will boost special attack. Moving on to the Alta Evolution, Smogger. This is the Smog Sporemon. He's a ghost and poison type. You can see he's got this round, smoggy looking midsection with all these tubes that would just exude poison gas, along with his really thin, spindly neck and head with some more tubes there. Ghost and poison, HP on the bad side. Attack and defense, both abysmal. This thing cannot physically attack basically at all. Special attack and special defense, both pretty good, not fantastic, and then speed quite low. It's actually really bad speed. He's also got the clear body ability, but he also has Smog, which instantly badly poisons the enemy. So that's really the main point of this. He's not super strong in the stat department. However, that ability of instantly badly poisoning the enemy is going to be very useful in a lot of ways, especially if he can take a hit. You can pull him out after that and maybe badly poison another enemy. That does it for Smogger, and we're going to move on to the last entry for this video, Mega Fan Tidal. Tidal Wave, Ghost in Water. You can see he's got an even more upright position with even more dramatic features. This light blue on the hands and this more vibrant blue for the body. As far as stats go, HP great, attack, defense both bad, special attack, special defense both fantastic. Especially that special attack is massive. Speed still definitely on the low side, and then the same abilities. All right, and that does it for this episode of Sporemon. In the next one, we're going to be going over the next 5-stage evolutionary lines, and we've got a few more episodes of that same sort of thing, and then we'll move on to a bunch of more single stages. And I'll see you then. Bye.